Welcome to the first webinar of 2023. Great to see so many great faces, a lot of familiar names. As always, if you would, just go ahead and drop in the chat where you're calling from, where you're checking in from tonight. It's always good to see how we are spread, not just across Zone 34, but we have so many guests in from Zone 33, our shared our zone, as well as across the United States and around the world. I saw some international registration, so it's always a lot of fun. Also, go ahead and be mindful if there are any questions that you might have. I know tonight is going to be a super popular topic. Please remember to put those in all caps in the chat. That way our moderators can find those. Our moderators, of course, are the fantastic Zone 34 public image team. Tonight we have incoming public image coordinator Susan Corder is joining us. She's going to be actually doing the next webinar next month. So we'll be talking about that in a minute. We have Sean Patty joining us from Trinidad and Tobago. So hey, Sean. We also have Michael Wallstrom. Michael is part of the Zone 34 public image team, and he's down in Rotary 6930. And so just jumping right into it, we are at 6:01, and I definitely want to be mindful of the time because I know that we have a ton of content that we want to cover tonight. Want to go ahead and kick it off by telling you that you can go ahead and register for our next webinar. So we haven't even started this webinar yet, and I'm telling you about the next one. But want to let you know that because of this great topic that Carolyn Mudgette is going to be covering tonight with the Facebook Business Manager, we wanted to piggyback on that in February and really put together a webinar on how to create really cool content. That seems to be a huge challenge. It's always a challenge to find really cool, fresh, engaging content to put up on your social channels. And so Susan Corder is working on a webinar that kind of gives you ideas of, you know, what's content. And essentially everything that your club does is potential content. Just keep that in mind. But also how to curate content across various channels, things that people that are interested in your club might also be interested in. You can head on over to elevaterotary.org. That's the Zone 34 public image resource page, elevaterotary.org. And you can go ahead and register for the next webinar right now. We have that, I say we have it live. Yeah, we have it live. So head on over. You can start registering now for creating cool content. It's going to be on February 20 at 6 p.m. Eastern. And you want to sign up. A couple other housekeeping items before we jump into the Facebook Business Manager. That's the tasks. You guys are doing a fantastic job with your monthly tasks. We have the October, November, and December tasks on the website. And Sean Patty just updated the website to include the January task. And so the January task is up there, and he's going to be adding the February and March task shortly. And so essentially, you've got about 6 months worth of work to do if you haven't been keeping up with it monthly. I hope you have, because that's the goal, is every month be thinking about how you can improve your club's public image plan. So essentially, you're going to have all of the tasks available to you except for the April task. We'll be publishing the April task, which will be the last task of the year in March. And so be looking for that one in March. We'll get the April task out. And then early May, we want to have all the citations out. So you can have them for, I know a couple of districts have already had district conferences. So I think we're going to miss out on 6990, and I think maybe 6930 had their district conference, but we'll be able to get those citations out so that your district governors can present them to you maybe at some of the end of year celebrations that you guys have. So the goal is to have all those great citations out in mid-May, and just a ton of great content coming in from you guys. You guys are doing a great job with the tasks. So that is the next webinar. That is the tasks. I introduced the RPIC team. And so without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce our presenter tonight. And I tell you, this topic has come up many times. Folks, a lot of the feedback we always get is, how do I use the Facebook Business Manager? How do I integrate that with my Instagram account? We know Instagram is a great new channel for us to use to maybe attract a younger audience, but we don't want to double the work. So how can we work on Facebook and Instagram at the same time? And so those are some of the questions that we've gotten in the past. And as we were thinking about this, there was one person that came to mind immediately, and she's right here in my own backyard in District 6970. That's Carolyn Mudgette. I've known Carolyn for a long time, a member of the St. Augustine Sunrise Club. And she has been in Rotary for 25 years. She has pretty much worn every single hat that she could possibly wear in our club or in our district and in her club. And she is currently the district grants chair elect, I think, right, Carolyn? Is that right?
That is right.
Right.
I'm on a learning curve.
So, but professionally, she owns a social media company, and she helps business owners leverage social media to grow their businesses. But the extra benefit for us as Rotarians is she knows a lot of those tips and tricks that we can use to really promote and tell the Rotary story. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with Carolyn's presentation and hand it off to Carolyn.
Well, hey, everyone. In addition to regular businesses, I have a lot of nonprofits. So that gives me a little more, a little more of an insight in how to use social media for nonprofits or what Rotary does. You know, I've been in Rotary for so long that one of the first job I had was to do the bulletin for our club. And one of our elder members called me the paper girl. Well, I learned how to do a lot of formatting at that point because it was an actual printed piece of paper. It was actually even before everybody went on email. So, and here I am today formatting images and text all the time. So I never expected to be here. I never expected to be in Rotary for 25 years either, but here we are. So we're going to cover, I want to go ahead and go to the next slide because we know we're here for business manager basics, please. So we're going to learn how to publish, schedule, and repurpose content. And repurposing will save you time, but you have to use this judiciously. We can get post inspiration and engage our audience with business feed, interacting with others. And I'm going to show you some business manager inbox tips. And I'm also going to show you if you have a 501c3 and you would like to take donations on Facebook, I'm going to give you some information about how to do that. It gets quite involved, but you'll know where to go. And remember, if you have questions, please do put them in chat in all caps, and we will get to those. I have a few questions that were asked already. So I really appreciate your time tonight because I know this is time you could be doing a bunch of other things. So I'll make sure that that you get a lot out of this session. And we're going to have an Ask Me Anything section at the end. So hopefully I'll have answers. And if I don't have the answers, I know probably where to get them. Marshall's got the slide deck. He can get that to you later. So you don't have to scramble to take notes. What I would like to know, since I'm not really able to see everybody, is are you guys, is anyone using Creator Studio for scheduling? A lot of people got used to it, and now it's being phased out. Marshall, do you see if anybody's raising their hand or anything on that?
Yeah, if you could go ahead and raise your hand if you're using Creator Studio. Anybody? Nope, nobody's there.
Nope. Well, that's good.
That's good.
Because it was kind of funny. I saw a link today on one of my pages to go to Creator Studio, and I thought, well, that's really stupid because they're phasing it out. So, all right. So, has anyone noticed recent changes to your homepage for your club? Also, it's known as a business page, so versus a personal page. They've got like the classic pages now. Some pages are still on that, but they're trying to transition everybody to this, the new pages experience, which has been giving people a lot of trouble because you have to jump through a few more hoops. And I think sometimes these, the developers are actually trying to, you know, they're creating more keystrokes is what it seems like sometimes. So be prepared when you're working on Facebook to just know that they change stuff all the time. In fact, so much that I had a question of about using Facebook Business Manager for Instagram posts, and they changed that while I was putting this presentation together. So I have a workaround that can help you post on that. So on Instagram from Facebook Business Manager, but they're always moving my cheese. So always try to be patient. So would you go to the next slide, please? So I'm showing you now how easy it is to get to your business manager. You just type in business.facebook.com. And if you're signed in to your business page or your Rotary page, it'll pop up. You'll see it in the upper left-hand corner that it is your Rotary page. Now, if you have other business pages, there's this little arrow right here on the left-hand side, and you can click on that little downward arrow above home, and it will allow you to change to a different business manager, or a different page, if you will. So next slide, please. We click on all tools down at the bottom, and then we get to business manager. Now, these are strategically planned out with the most common things that you'll use on the left-hand side. Now, the only one that I've never used the sound collection. I've gotten sounds I've needed for background videos and such via YouTube, but this is also a good, I looked at it. It's comparable to what they have on YouTube for sounds that are copyright free. I've not used game streaming either. And chances are you're not going to be using that on your Rotary page. But business feed is where you act as just like your regular feed that you have in Facebook when you go on there, where you interact with other pages. And if you don't have any pages in there, you need to start liking pages as your business. When you're signed into Business Manager, if you have the new pages experience, it'll be easier for you. But if you have the old classic pages, when you're looking on Facebook and you find a page that you think would be good to like as your club's page, you'll have to click on three little dots, and in the upper right hand area below the cover photo, and say and like it as your page. And if you have more than one page, it'll make you scroll through a bunch of stuff. So content here is the quick place to schedule and publish and manage posts and create draft posts. That's in case you're not ready to publish them yet. And access photos and such. Your inbox, you can respond to everything, every comment and message that way as well. And Planner is kind of cool because you can look at a month at a time or a week at a time. And it's also very helpful for finding content that you maybe want to reshare. I'm going to go over here to this big arrow that I created here for the search bar. So this is not the same kind of search as, I think it's called Boolean, that you would do on Google or what have you. This is only going to pull up words that are referenced within on these descriptions. So if you can't remember, like if you need to add somebody to your page and you can't remember what that's called, you're going to have to read all this stuff. But if you remember its roles, I know it's in page settings. I've done it a million times, but it's in the roles. You could remember role and put that in there and you'd find it easy enough. Account quality is what you use when you have a problem with a post. If you, I don't know if anybody is trying to advertise for volunteers, and if you're advertising at all, if you're doing an ad and have a volunteer post rejected, which typically happens just because of the word volunteer, it gets flagged as potentially discriminatory because the system thinks it's about hiring somebody to do a job, but there's a way to have that reviewed again, and 99 times out of 100 it'll go through because the person on the other end versus the robot that's screening it out anyway, the first time will realize that that's not a work type thing. You can also get your billing this way. And if you want to link Canva to your Facebook account, the business apps is where to do it. Now, that's not something I've done because I have a bunch of different accounts. I use Canva every day and I'm already in a habit. I have a system set up. So, but if you just have like one account that you're working with Canva on a business page, this would be the thing to do. Canva is incredible. With a nonprofit, you can get a free Canva account, but even so, it's not expensive for the whole year. I want to say like, I don't know, it's like $10 a month or something like that when you pay for it a year at a time. And page settings has a whole bunch of stuff. I'll go over this after this slide, I'm going to share my screen. So we'll cover some of this other stuff. This is just the overview. Under here, advertise, we've got all the different ads manager. That's where you would take a look at your ads and see the performance of it. That's actually where I set up ads. Some people boost ads from the post itself, but I really prefer having ad sets already, or audiences, shall I say, already set up. Now, this also has audiences on here and goes into, there are so many things that Facebook can do. And just like when you get a new computer, and even though you may be pretty good at being on your computer, you're still never going to use your computer to its fullest extent, unless maybe you're Marshall or somebody, maybe he does. But so anyway, my analogy there is that you're probably never going to create custom audiences or create lookalike audiences unless you have a huge database. Maybe you'll do it for a business that you work in, but you probably aren't going to do it for Rotary. Events managers there also, and then this forms. I'm not really sure how to use this with a CRM software, so that's so like client management software type thing. Over in analyze and report on the left-hand side, you can learn more about the ads. Insights tell you about your demographics and how well things are performing based on the last 28 days, over 28 days. You can also do custom views, and really year over year is probably a lot more valid with your data versus 1 month over month. You may have a post that goes gangbusters for no apparent reason. Sometimes it happens. And, if you're looking at a 28 days over 28 day view, the month after you have this really great ad, or really great post, it's going to show that you are down 42% or something. And, it's just not, don't feel bad. If it's red, don't feel bad. Okay. In selling products and services, this is another thing that businesses may do. It doesn't really apply to services as much as, well, maybe some kind of services, but it's not really going to apply to us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So I'm going to find Business Manager, minimize this bar over here. It's fun getting used to all this stuff, isn't it? Okay. All right. So I'm going to type in business.facebook.com. It remembers. And here I am at St. Augustine Sunrise Rotary's business page, business manager page. I'll move some of this stuff around. The stuff you can't, I don't know, maybe you can see that I'm screen sharing. All right. So I'm clicking on all tools. Business feed is something I use every day. So it gives you the pages that you've liked as your own page. Look, there I am at the Betty Griffin 5K, trying to hustle up runners and volunteers. And we got the Rotary Club of Ponte Vedra. Now, they just had this speaker, and he sounded so interesting that when I saw this in the feed, I ended up sending him a message to see if I could get him to speak. So this kind of thing can happen, and you can click that you like a post or share it to your page, and just go through here and scroll. This is all great stuff. Like People of Action honors, that's so cool. And this might be something that you'd want to share to your page. And you can do that simply by sharing this to your page with the share button. And I think it may have shared it without me typing in anything. So I'm going to go back to the actual page. And you find it by clicking on Home and then Manage Facebook Page. Because if it doesn't have any words, it might be kind of weird, and it did not. So that's kind of good that it didn't, because that wasn't really my intention. So going back to the business page again. They want you to go into the business suite right there, so why not? Now, if you feel like there's a lot of jumping around, there is, because the design of this and getting used to it really is a bit cumbersome. And that's a nice way to put it, I think. So I think you probably get the point that you can find other things that you could share within your community, ways to support other Rotary clubs. Like here's St. Augustine Sunset Rotary is doing a cool dinner, and things that might have interest within your club members or so forth, and other nonprofits and such. So that's kind of funny, but I think you get the gist of it. So one other thing that you can do to create content, and sometimes you'll see it through here, especially if you go to the our district page will share articles from Rotary.org often. You can subscribe to newsletters from Rotary.org and use those newsletters, use the content from the newsletters, the articles to use them as posts. If you find something that you'd like to share, you can, I'm looking for an example, but I'm not seeing one off the top of my head. But I do want to show you a little trick, because I have a lot of little tricks. All right, so this is just for an example. So I see this, it's going to take me to another, oh, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do. A lot of times when you click on things through Facebook, which I'm going to try and find one that'll do this, it takes you to an outside source, and you get all this gobbledygook, if you will, at the end of the page link. What you can do is to select this part of the link that's the question mark with the FB for Facebook. I don't know exactly what that whole thing stands for, but it tracks the post that when it gets clicked on. Then hit enter, then you have just the post, the URL by itself, and you can copy and paste that also into Business Manager in the content section, create a post this way. I'm copying and pasting, and it gives me the image, and you can type in sign up today for this fun event. With the Rotary Club of St. Augustine Sunset. And there it is right there. So we want to support our other clubs, so why not? You know, you could do this also with your own. Now, you can schedule this also. I don't know if you can see this little bar I have to keep moving around. You can schedule this up to, I think it's 75 days in advance or something. So I don't want to schedule it after the event. So I know it's coming up pretty soon. So I'm going to schedule this for February 2nd to remind people. This time of night is a great time to post. If you're worried about when the best time to post is, that's really a matter of things being up for debate. Now you can see right here, it's in this is in the content section right now. And you can see that it's scheduled on February 2nd. This is on the week of the end of January and February 2nd. And our president-elect has been diligent in adding more content. So we've got things scheduled out a bit. So you can toggle these arrows right here in the contents, this says planner. All right, planner and content really work very much the same. The big difference on the planner is that you can look at a month at a time, like this. Of course, it wants to prompt you to schedule things ahead of time. But you can see all the things that have been posted in the last month. And if you wanted to repurpose this, you can click on it. Now, I'm not going to repurpose this. I'm just showing you how. You can click on these three dots and it'll say duplicate post. Now, when it comes up, there's nothing over here on this right-hand side above the picture, which is weird. But if you click in here, it shows up. I think it would even show up even if you don't click over here in this text section, but I kind of like to have the what you see is what you get thing going on with me. Now, one thing this will not work on, this clicking on the three dots and duplicating the post on, it does not work on videos. However, there's a way to do something else with that. So I'll show you that in a minute. So you can also republish something to a Facebook group or Instagram feed. Now, if I wanted to, there's not an Instagram account associated with the St. Augustine Sunrise Rotary page. But if I wanted just to share this on Instagram, I would be able to tick off the little box here, and then I could share it. Now, if I was doing Instagram, and why it says preview not available, probably because there's no Instagram affiliated with it. You always want to use your hashtags. Now, some people, my personal preference on Instagram is to do the hashtags after the post, not within the post. I really prefer to do it in the first comment. But what you would want to do is to enter in like 5, if you're doing it within the post like this, because you can't reach the comments from here, and start doing your hashtags here. So this is about Nights of Lights in St. Augustine, which is a big thing. And then hashtag visit St. Augustine, etc. You can do up to 30 hashtags, and that's really a whole nother class. But something important about hashtags is having a hashtag strategy. Like Nights of Lights and Visit St. Augustine are moderately used. If you were doing a hashtag family fun or something like that, it gets into the millions of hashtags. And you just, it's so crowded that you're probably not going to get anything seen. So, you know, if you put in hashtag service above self, there may be a bunch of them, but they're all Rotary. And that's where, you know, you want to kind of try and focus on the people that are your audience. If you put in Imagine Rotary, not Totary, but Rotary, haha. you'll see that, look at that, 152,000 people are hashtagging Rotary. So that's pretty awesome. So that's how you could, that's a little workaround to being able to schedule on Instagram. But if, like I said, if this account had an Instagram feed associated with it, you'd be able to tick this box here and you'd be able to see a preview. And so I'm going to go ahead and back out of this by clicking on the X, and I'm going to discard my changes there. So there's a cool way to repurpose text, repurpose a post, and do a Instagram post. You can also do that from the content section where your three dots are right here. And you could duplicate your post this way. Now, primarily what I use this for as a, in a professional manner is, I know that some of the stuff I did last January might be relevant for this month, particularly with Martin Luther King Day, or it'll let you go back and look for things for in a long way, like about 2 years. It used to be much further than that. I've also noticed that sometimes this search, you can do a search by a keyword in here, part of your caption, and this is not working very well. Sometimes it does work well. I'm going to put my name in here and see if anything comes up. So there was my birthday recently, but that did come up. But these are all invalid. So it's not working properly right now. Hopefully it will, because it's a great tool. If you don't find it all in the last 90 days, then you can click on this area here and go to lifetime, and it should pull up everything, if it's working right, every time Carolyn is mentioned or whatever it is that you might be looking for. And I hope that does help somebody on some of the stuff that you're doing. I want to, let's see. I did show you about how to get to the place that you get to the three dots at is by clicking on the entire post there. But in content, it's going to be in here, right here. This is the content section. So you can click on the little scheduled thing here and see all the posts that are scheduled. I moved one into drafts yesterday because I had a question for the lady that set this up. So now it's suspended from being posted until we reschedule it. Now, I've never used this feature, expiring posts or expired posts. I don't know why, somebody might want to do that, but I'm not really sure why. Are there any questions so far to our administrators of that pertain to the stuff I've already gone over? It might be easier to do it that way.
I haven't seen any questions come through yet regarding this section. I do think that this publish section is a great place to go look at past posts that had really good reach or really good engagement, and a good way to maybe see what you did in that post that you might want to try to do again, or maybe repurpose or create a new version of it. So sometimes it's good to go back and see what's working, do more of that.
Exactly. And thank you for that reminder, Marshall, because this does show you what the reach is and what the engagement. Now, the reach is the number of eyeballs, or actually it's eyeballs divided by 2, unless everybody's got one eye. So this is the number of people that have seen your post, and engagement is the number of people that have reacted to your post in some way, whether it's a like, a share, a comment. Same thing with the reactions, and had 10 comments, 11 reactions, 0 shares. Now, when I started doing social media professionally, it was a little over 7 years ago. And the big thing to do was to try and get people to share your posts, and not by saying, hey, please share my post, but share it naturally. And and this was before advertising came about with Facebook. Everything was free and it was really easy to get likes, and people were really, really concerned with likes. And I'll tell you, I am not concerned with likes at all for my pages. I'm more concerned with the engagement and the reach that my pages have. And they get amplified significantly when you do advertising on pages, advertising on posts. Now, that's a whole nother class too. And I'm going to talk about advertising stuff in a couple of minutes, I think, too. But
Carol, we did have one question. Someone was asking if you're just using Instagram and Facebook, is there any reason why you would use a platform like Buffer, I guess Hootsuite or HubSpot
Sure.
or any of those to schedule posts versus the Facebook version?
Sure. I use Buffer for Instagram, and I used to use it for Facebook. It got expensive at one point, and now it's not as expensive. But Facebook also didn't. What you see in front of you with Business Suite is Facebook's response to Hootsuite and Buffer and the umpteen dozen other companies that are work with them to schedule posts, because they saw how valuable it is. They really want to keep you on Facebook and don't want you to go other places, because the people are the product, including you, if you're posting. So yes, that is a great point, that you can do that. Some people like to do it, some people don't. And I really don't have any, here's the thing is if I have something scheduled on Buffer and there's a problem with it, they send me an email that it didn't post. If I have something on Facebook and it doesn't go, I don't get an email. I find it out by accident. So,
Good point. Yeah.
And that is a point, but that's also a service that you're paying for, and they should be doing that. Now, essentially Facebook is free to the end user, and it's not free to businesses. It's very highly competitive, and you do have to, a lot of times you do have to advertise. Now, as far as Rotary clubs go, I mean, if you can get your club members to share your posts or interact with your posts or monitor the page once a week or whatever, go on there and take a look at it. That's also great, but it doesn't always happen naturally, because Facebook wants to make money, and their algorithm, if it's they consider what we do on our clubs as a business page. And for business pages, they really want businesses to spend money. Now you can see that the posts that do better are posts that feature people, like Danny winning the 50-50, or the Christmas Eve video of the choir that came to, or the chorus that came to sing at our club. But otherwise, you'd really have to spend, $1 a day minimum. And that's not so bad, if you have a budget for it.
Getting returns to share your post, though, that's a great strategy. If you have an event coming up or something like that,
yeah,
don't rely on the algorithm. Get your folks to share the content.
That's right. And something else that you can do now, when you're working on your business page as a business, you can't tag individual people. You can tag other businesses if they're on Facebook, but you can't tag your friends. So what I would do is I'm going to jump out of using this as a business. And so this is on the old classic Facebook pages. And one of the ways is that this is, see where my cursor is on the right-hand side, it's got the little icon as my club's cover or profile picture. There's my profile picture. And if I see all profiles, then I have to look at this. And of course, none of it's in alphabetical order, which drives me nuts, but no way to change that. Anyway, so I'm here as me. If I was working on a page that was on the new pages profile, it would all be in here. Period project project is one of our club pages. And this is, oh, look, our page has been updated. So I think I'm now in I'm now in this new-fangled thing. So if I go over to Meta Business Suite, it may still keep me it took me over there. Took me right over to the new period project. Sometimes you have to actually hunt and peck for your page that you're trying to find. And again, these are not in alphabetical order. So if you only have a couple of things you have to look at to find that, you're lucky, because this is all day long. So anyway, I'm going to go back because I kind of got sidetracked, which is easy to do on Facebook. And now my dog is barking. So, all right, back to Business Suite for this may have bumped me out. So let's see, I'll refresh, because this can happen too. You create a post, you're not even in the right place. Happened to me yesterday. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go back to St. Augustine Sunrise Rotary, and then I'm going to tag, I'm going to show you how to tag a post. You can tag, well, this is offering me a chance to edit it, even though I know that I'm not supposed to edit that. But you could tag, you could tag the photo by clicking here where it says tag photo, and then start typing a name. I'm going to pick on Anita O'Donnell, our president-elect. I'll pick on Marshall. There he is. And I'll even tag Rotary District 6970, see if it'll let me do that. And there it is. So, and I'm done tagging down here. And so now this has been tagged. And the people that have been tagged should get a notification. And they'll see that they've been tagged. And it says it right here. Now, I don't know why Rotary 6970 is not in there. If you try and tag somebody and they've got their security set at a certain way, that may prevent it also. So you can't always tag everybody, but that's kind of mysterious because they are right here. So who knows why? That's certainly something we can check into to see why people can't tag the district. So I'm going to write that down too. Tagging the district. Okay.
I just got my notification. I liked your photo.
Oh, good. Thank you. See how easy that was? Marshall liked it. So, so that's one way you can get some engagement too. And of course, using this business feed and finding things that you like. Things that, here's, if you know somebody that's, that might interest, you can also share it to them or share it to their page, what have you. So here's something from one of the Rotary emails, but I'm not quite sure why she didn't have the link in here. Now, if I'm signed in as, I'm not sure if I'm even signed in as a page anymore here. I'll have to go back to the home part and see. Yeah, I'm here as the Rotary Club. So there we go.
So
all right. So
I know we only have 15 minutes left. I know fundraising on Facebook and Instagram is probably something that a lot of folks here are interested in.
Yeah, let's get to that. Okay, so fundraising is really so important with Facebook. I'm gonna just Google fundraising Facebook for nonprofits. I've got a link for this in the PDF that Marshall has, so you don't have to hunt around for it. And I'm surprised at how fast the time is going by. And I have to say, it's kind of weird not having the interaction with people talking and stuff at the same time. So this is actually not exactly the same page I wanted, but this is the gist of it right here. So Facebook makes it free to start fundraisers, and I really need to find this other page. Sorry about that. So they make it free. It doesn't cost a penny for us to solicit money. Here it is, social impact. It doesn't cost a penny for us to collect money. They pay all the credit card fees. It does take 2 to 3 weeks to get it, and you really do have to be patient if you apply for fundraising tools, because you have to have all your documentation, your tax ID info, any kind of business licensing info, website info. You've got to have like we have a thing called SunBiz in Florida, where it's for corporation. You have to have corporate info and everything. And they are sticklers. And it's good that they are, because there's so many scammers out there. You don't want to have people trying to scam on fundraisers on Facebook. So it can take a while, but they've got all the like frequently asked questions, and then you can learn more. They even have a place where you can, I just kind of went back to that one place. They have tools that you can, so anyway, I'm not going to start a fundraiser right now, a fundraising application, but they do have a place that'll tell you where you can, where you can send for help if you need help, and it's under the frequently asked questions as part of it, which is where we were a minute ago. But it tells you about all these eligibility requirements. Eventually you'll see something about where you can ask for help, how you get help, and so forth. So it's incredibly helpful. I did a fundraiser for my birthday recently for a domestic violence shelter I'm on the board of. I asked for $1,000. I ended up inviting like 450 of my friends and ended up raising $1,253 for them. So that was kind of cool, and it was a big birthday. So that can be done. And yeah, I probably should, I could do it for the Rotary Foundation too, but this particular one seemed to be the right thing for me to do at the time. And it also fulfilled a board situation for me. So
Carolyn, we got a question. What's the difference between doing it that way and just doing a Facebook fundraiser on your own page for your organization?
well, you can do that, but it goes straight into the bank account of the 501c3.
Okay.
Now, you can raise money on your page to give it to someone else, but people have to really trust you, I suppose. Is that what the person means?
That might be it. Yeah, I think this is probably a way to do it, where it certainly is going through the Facebook vetting process.
Yeah, and the coolest thing is that every time somebody makes a donation, it shows up on their page they've made that donation. So you get a lot more social aspect of it. And so, oh, Jane donated $100. I know I love that charity too, or whatever. And then someone else will donate. And whether it's a small amount or a large amount, you thank everyone. And a huge part of running social media is listening. So you want to make sure that you're listening to what people are doing on your page, and conversing with them if it's appropriate, like asking them to like the page if they haven't already. And I think I set something up. We're running out of time, and I really do want to get to these questions that I have. So I'm going to go back to not sharing my screen, and I'm going to go back to having you pull up the slide deck again.
You bet.
If you don't mind. And then
I know you had some inbox tips.
Yeah, inbox tips. A lot of this, you can find your way in this. You can move things to done when you're finished with them. It's kind of good. It neatens things up. And then you can also set up instant replies either on the inbox or you can also do that under the settings on the business manager. A lot of times there's more than one way to skin a cat on Facebook. So keep that in mind. And
moving
here's a
them to
cool
done
thing.
is good. So that you don't step on someone else's toes in your club.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can assign them to other people. And you can also set up frequently asked questions as auto reply, or an instant reply is what they call it, for your events. So next slide, please. All right, so is Lisa here? Lisa Gelber, is she with us today?
She is.
Okay, Lisa, what I'm wondering about is, was there a problem that that made the page get suspended?
Lisa, if you want to unmute, we can. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, thanks for for calling me out. So we had just updated the Rotary logo on our page. We were asked by our public image chair for our district to do that. Apparently, it was the old logo still on there, and so I literally deleted that one and added the new image of the Rotary International, gold wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And within a number of days received a notice from Facebook saying that our page had been unpublished for impersonating another business, trying to impersonate another business.
Were you able to get any help with Facebook help?
Not at all.
Okay.
I was able to appeal that, and they said it would go under review and that it would take some time because, COVID, which this was last last fall.
Okay.
And then one day I could still see the page as one of the administrators, but no one else could see it. And only administrators could see it. And then one day it just completely disappeared without me being able to see anything.
All right. Well, I have a link for you. It's facebook.com/business/help. And if you scroll about halfway through the page, you should be able to get a chat started. But I'm going to tell you, before you do that, write down everything that happened. Try and be as simple as you can. Be very patient when you start this process. It can take you some time. They'll probably want to call you. Facebook had a big layoff in October, early November, something like that.
Yes.
And since then, the quality of their support has slid.
Okay.
They're outsourcing a lot of stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that in a global economy, but it's just different now. But they may want to call you to discuss it. And if you can just write it up and just stick with it, because they might be able to undo that, because that was clearly wrong.
Yeah, it's, over 10 years of history on the page. So
yeah, that's the history is the biggest part. The number of followers is it's significant. I mean, it's very, very hard to get new followers and new likes anymore. But like I was mentioning before, the engagement is better, but only 5%, if you're not advertising, only 5% of the people that follow or like your page have a chance to see your post. So, all right. So hopefully that'll help you, Lisa. I'd be interested in knowing the outcome of that.
Okay. Yeah.
And
thank you.
Yeah. And my email, cmudgette, CMUDGETTE@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. So Jane, next slide, please. I think I covered Jane's question about how to do Instagram. I would have had a different answer had they not moved my cheese and messed it up. But now we have that workaround. So the next slide, I know I covered future posts, and Amelia wanted to know about boosts and picking audiences and stuff. And I'll tell you, the thing that I see people do is that they pick audiences that are too broad and too big. So wherever you are, 10 or 15 miles around you, if you're, depending on if you're in Orlando and you're trying to get a lot more people, or, Atlanta or something, it just kind of depends on how big of an area you want to cover. Because at $1 a day minimum, if you're doing a $10 ad for 10 days, it'll go okay if you just have a small area. But if you're trying to do $1 a day on 1 million people, it keeps the post alive, but that's about it. And picking audiences, people that have some kind of a love, that you can pick people that like nonprofit and service and volunteering, but it may be too small of a group to use. So next slide, please. And here, our district governor-elect in 7020 asked this question, or has a tip about not deleting or blocking a poster that makes a negative comment. And I can see where he's coming from, because you do want to engage with people with compassion. He mentioned hiding the post, but what I think he doesn't realize is that hiding a post still allows a person's friends to see it in their comments. And so another strategy might be in order. So sometimes if you just go and outright delete a post, if it's something very critical or very negative, or, if it's, if someone's cussing or something, you can go ahead and block them. But I would hide it for like 12 hours or something. They're maybe waiting to get a rise out of you. And then I'd go and delete it and possibly block him. At least I would remember who the person was. And if they reared their head again, strike two, we got too much other stuff to do. So does anybody have any questions that I haven't covered? Any questions? I could go on. I probably got 30 more minutes worth of content I could share.
Actually, someone just asked about a Facebook page that's been suspended since November 22nd. How can we recover? And I think you covered it with mentioning that facebook.com/business/help. I'll put that back in the chat again. I think that covered it, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Definitely want to be mindful of everyone's time.
Yeah.
So if we don't have any other questions, we did put Carolyn's email in the chat, and as I mentioned, we will have that next webinar coming up next month with creating cool content. And always, if you have specific questions, you can reach out to the Zone 34 Public Image team, and we can get those to Carolyn as well if we can't answer the question. So, but
I may send you some of my notes, Marshall, because there were a couple of things I didn't get to cover about ads with social issues.
Oh, okay.
Getting confirmation on that, or creating disclaimers. So I have some notes I'll send, and they're, I'll send those to you. Maybe you can send those out as well.
Oh, perfect. Yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that. We always make sure that we turn these recordings around pretty quickly. We'll get this recording out tomorrow with the link that you can watch, and we'll also include Carolyn's her slides as well as her notes, and provide that to you along with a registration link for that next webinar. If you have any additional questions, you can just reply to that email, and we'll get it and get those questions answered for you. So again, Carolyn, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to talk to us. Comments have come in and said how helpful this is, and it's tough, and it's tough to demonstrate because Facebook has acquired so many companies and integrated so many different technologies into that back office that, sometimes you go down one path and all of a sudden you're back where you started, back to your point of they moved your cheese. I know daily working with some of my team, it's like, we just went here yesterday and it was here, and today it's not here. So it can be a little bit frustrating, but with a little bit of patience, I think it does have some powerful tools. The insights, the ability to duplicate posts, the ability to to do a lot of that, to do the content planner, to get your stuff out. It's something that just takes a little bit of work, but you can't break it. So don't worry about that.
Right. You can't break it. And it really, sometimes you have to be really patient, especially if you have a suspension problem or some other kind of crazy problem. So
yeah, those are the ones that can be tough, is those when, you know, some faceless organization has blocked your website or your Facebook page, and now you're trying to get through the noise to get someone to resolve it. So, and we do see that occasionally where people have been locked out. But I think that link on the Facebook business page is going to be super helpful.
yeah,
So,
it's a very helpful one. And if you can scroll into the middle and get to the, you know, start a chat kind of thing, that's really the best thing. And really just write it all out ahead of time, because they may be ready in 2 minutes, or you may be sitting around and they may ask you again. You know, if you have it written out once, you can just copy and paste it in, and you don't have to repeat yourself a bunch of times.
that's a great tip. Absolutely. Well, Carolyn, again, thank you so much for your presentation tonight and your assistance with this topic. A reminder to everyone, again, to go to elevaterotary.org to register for the February webinar, as well as to hop on over there. And we do have the January task up and ready to go. We'll be getting the February and March tasks up pretty soon. And if you need to go back and do some of the October, November, December tasks, those are up there as well. So thanks to all those in Zone 34 that have updated those tasks. Again, on behalf of the Zone 34 Public Image Team, we are here to support. We're here to help. We're here to help you tell your Rotary story. If there's anything that we can do to help your club, if you need a presenter or someone to speak to your club, we're always here as a resource to help with that. So please reach out and let us know what we can do to make you guys have excellent public image strategies for your clubs. With that, I want to thank my team for helping out tonight, and look forward to seeing you all next month with creating cool content. Take
Thanks
care,
for
everyone.
having me.
All righty. Good night, all.
Night.